born in 1712 and death in 1778. The new views of child care and training as expressed in Emil. Emil. Do you know about Emil? Anybody know about Emil? Don't know. Hello? Do you anybody about know about Emil?
No, sir.
Okay. This is the book and the novel prepared by the Rousseau. In this novel or book, Rousseau emphasis on the natural development of the child. He always said that student can learn with his pace. His motto was let the child grow, thus swinging the educational pendulum to the opposite end of the arc. Rousseau believed that child was born essentially good, but when he comes contact with society, the evils develop. It means when the child contact with society, the evils occurs. It means that when the child born, hello, are you listening me?
Yes, sir, we are listening.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
may I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rousseau believed that child was born essentially good and that vices develop later. During the first 6 years, he advocated negative training, that is complete freedom from restraint. It means Rousseau was the favor of freedom to child. Disciplinary nature was sufficient. Injuries or embarrassment resulting when a child were felt to be sufficient chastening for the child. For example, if he touched a fire, the burn would be his punishment. It means the punishment will be given by the nature. Next, educationist, and we can say that the philosopher The contribution in the field of preschool education, that is the Jean Frederick of Berlin, born in 1740 and death in 1826. This was founded in the village of Walbach. This village in France. Its chief concern was to cater for the physical well-being of the children. Manual activities like walks, plays, activities, different games were regularly scheduled. Children ranging from 2 to 6 years attended the school. As we have already studied that the preschool education is from 2 to 6 years age. The program included reading, number work, and other subjects. Next is John Henry's pastorology. Pastorology also emphasis on preschool education. The idea of education for the young child is not new. Some form of early childhood education has been a major consideration in the cultural pattern of societies since the beginning. The nursery school movement spread rapidly, especially in Europe, when it became non-evident that early childhood is significant and plays an important role for pre for primary education. Childhood, the main aim of childhood education is physical development, social development, emotional development, and intellectual development through different types of activities. Play schools teach children the very basic education of life and prepare students for higher schools and for primary schools. Children spend some time away from home with their teachers, play with them, and learn some of life very basic education in these homely places. In India, play schools become more popular. In earlier days, there was no need to preschool education because the children used to get their education from their homes in ancient period, where the grandparents and other members of the family impart knowledge to the child who could provide primary education. But in present scenario, the number of preschool increased. For the teaching of children, play school also follow some scientific methods like playway method, problem solving method. The play schools provide toys to the children where they need to use their intelligence in order to play. This way, schools help the children to develop their intelligence and personality. Play school activities also promotes good habits in the preschoolers, or we can say that the all-round development of the child. Preschool centers, also known as the kindergarten system, as we have already studied, nursery schools, Montessori schools, Now we will discuss the features of kindergarten schools. First is free self activity. Second is creativity. Third is social participation. Next is teaching through play. Teaching through songs. Teaching through different activities. These all merits have been discussed yesterday. Merits of the kindergarten: emphasis on early childhood education. Playway is the accepted as the method of education. Provision for activities, social learning is made possible. And if we talk about the demerits of the kindergarten, then overemphasis on play is likely to distract the child from serious learning. There is only limited scope for correlation in teaching of various subjects in the kindergarten system. The system overlooks the importance of environment in the development of child. So these are the demerits of kindergarten system of education. If we talk about the Montessori system, as we have discussed yesterday, Maria Montessori was basically an Italian doctor. She was a renowned child educator, and we can say that the founder of the Maria Montessori system. She was a great educationist, psychologist who studied the development education of the children through the scientific method of observation, experimentation, and research. If we talk about the characteristics and principles of Montessori method, the Montessori method emphasizes self-directed activity on the part of the child and clinical observation on the part of the teacher or directors. This method focuses on adapting the child's learning environment to his development level. The major characteristics of the Montessori method: it is self-activated. Children learn at their own pace. Learning by doing is the main principle. Children are taught through all senses with a special emphasis on the kinesthetic. Here the role of the teacher is that of a guide, observer, coach, and overall manager. It facilitates learning by discovery rather than by mere instruction. These are the characteristics of Montessori method. There are some principles like principle of development from within, principle of intrinsic, rewarding and non-punishing, principle of individual development, principle of auto education, principle of sense training, principle of motor training. The Montessori curriculum focuses on 5 areas, mostly practical life, sensorial training, language development, mathematical development, cultural development. These all points have been discussed already. The merits and demerits of Montessori method. First, the merits of the Montessori method are the child who attend Montessori nursery has higher levels of cognitive attainment. It helps to make discipline at a very young age because the child has the freedom to choose activities for himself. The child can choose the activities according to his interest. Learning is activity based. The child works at his own pace. The child trying out new things. He is extremely responsible and loves to work. There is no stress of competition in this method. If we talk about the demerits of Montessori system, Montessori method, the demerits are Montessori education focuses too much on individual, so the child may be slow to develop social skills because of the lack of interaction. As the emphasis is on structure, the child's development may be restricted. Experiences are limited due to the structure of toys and playtime. The Montessori kids have adjusting at the primary school. The child in a Montessori preschool is used to working alone, and at this own pace, he may not adapt well to the group instruction and interaction that occurs in a typical primary schools. Now, the importance of tripartite relationship in preschool. There are three main part. One is parents, second is teacher, and third is the student. Preschool education is the training for future life. The child gets benefit physically, intellectually, socially, morally, and psychologically. This is the period of early check. The examination of good number of cases of physical and mental disorder in adult life has revealed a preschool provides positive forces for complete and harmonious adjustment, and there are few chances of a child who has undergone preschool education to be maladjusted in later life. The open air type of building, the in educated toys and rich play material, the simple balanced diet and healthy food, the ordered routine of preschool day, the interesting and varied activities and experiences, all these become charming for the young child and give him intense pleasure. The child learns to adjust himself socially in this atmosphere. The following are the objectives of preschool education as we discussed yesterday: physical development, emotional development, mental development, social development, spiritual development. Now we will talk about the family as an agency of education. Family means the group of members. In this group, the main important role of the mother, as we know, the mother is the first teacher of the child, and she is the first teacher of the child, and she is the first guru of the child, because at the time of birth the child firstly contact with her mother. It means she is the first teacher of the child. So we can say that family as an agency of education. The family, or we can say that the home as an important agency of education, has been exercising an everlasting and immediate influence on the behavior, character, conduct, and personality of the child. The education of the child is not the exclusive responsibility of the school. Parent can and should play an important role in shaping and building the career of the child. It means the role of the family is very important for child's education. School cannot perform all the function alone. As a result, the family influence on the child's development, like habits, attitudes, behavior, is much more. The home as informal agency of education. Home is the informal agency of the education, and family is also the informal agency of the education, and the school is formal agency of the education. The education of the child depends upon the atmosphere of the family. If the atmosphere of the family is calm, the child will grow rapidly. Educational function of family. If we talk about the educational function of family. So then there is different types of functions of family. Provisions for physical development, development of mental ability, emotional development, moral development, training for citizenship, healthy attitude towards the sex, development of senses, parents' role in the education of preschool is very significant. The parents can talk to the child about what they do and where they have been, ask them what they did and what they saw, listen with interest when they talk and join in the conversation, read books in to the child, talk about what's happening in the pictures, let him act out the story, tell stories about when you were a child. Children learn to ride two-wheel or three-wheel bike with support wheels, make opportunities for outdoor physical activities such as walk in the park, ball games, and visiting playgrounds. Provide materials for painting and drawing. Praise and encourage the child when he considered other and play well with other and help him to think about how others feel. So these are the role of parents. The main role of the mothers can take special attention in providing etiquette, nutrition, clean and healthy living conditions, opportunities for play, listening to good language, encourage self-expression, opportunities for observation, experimentation, and problem solving. Accept the child behavior with a positive attitude. Now, the role of PTA. Now, the role of PTA in the functioning of a school. Do you know PTA?
Parent Teacher Association.
Parent Teacher Association. Why? In school, the PTA there is important role of PTA for the development of child. The cooperation between the school and the home can serve various functions. On the one hand, the parents come to know what work the school is doing for their children, and on the other hand, the teacher appreciate the value of what the home is doing for the pupils. For the all-round development of the child, meaningful cooperation between the home and the school is necessary. PTA is the most effective means of promoting this cooperation. A team, or we can say that the committee in which parents, can be involved. The following should be the objectives of PTA: to facilitate participation of the parent in schools, to enable parents to understand the working of the school, to provide support for improving the standard of student achievement, to organize programs for students' welfare, to improve the condition and facilities of the schools. Nowadays, in addition to PTA, Mother Teacher Association MTA also take active participation of school activities. As mothers show more patience to the routine works of the students, mother can give healthy suggestions for students' progress in schools. So, in addition to PTA, MTA also take active participation in schools. Every school must organize the PTA and MTA, Parent Teacher Association and Mother Teacher Association, with all the teachers and the parents of the students as members. An executive committee should be formed which have equal representation of teachers as well as parents. The executive committee should meet at least once a month and discuss various problems, matters related to the school and the student activities and so on. Now, communication between parent and teacher. In order to build a good relationship with the child, teacher, parents must communicate with the teacher frequently. This communication becomes fruitful when the parents show patience to listen to what the teacher briefs about their child. It is very helpful for the development of the child. Communication should be focused on the best interest of the child. Open and frequent communication between parents and teachers helps to ensure that the issues raised at the parents teachers meeting don't catch anyone by surprise. Both parents and teachers benefit from being well prepared in advance for the meeting so that the meeting is less emotionally charged and talks place in a trusting atmosphere. Next, addressing learning problems of students with teachers. If we talk about the learning problems of the child, or we can say that when discussing a child's learning problem with the teacher, parent can try different strategies. The parent can ask the teacher to be specific about the problem and the context in which the problem occurs. Children may experience difficulty due to frustrations with peers, the family arrangements, or learning situations. Teacher can point out their strengths and weaknesses so that parents can work with teachers and solve the difficulties, or we can say that overcome the difficulties. The teacher, the parents can also ask the teacher what is being done to help the child overcome the problem. The parents can ask the teacher what they should do to help the child at home, and ask the teacher to suggest 3 or 4 concrete actions to do every day. It may be as simple as change in the evening schedule, where the child gets 15 to 20 minutes of the parent time to read together or work together. A regular schedule is usually beneficial to the child. For example, it may be more effective to learn to spell 3 new words per day than to study 10 or 12 words at night before the test. If you talk about addressing behavior problem of students, the parents should inquire about their child's misbehavior, aggressive behavior, maybe to get away with something, or when not understanding the teacher's directions or not following the language. Consider all possibilities before pinpointing the behavior in question. The teacher can be asked what is to be done by both the teacher and the child to help solve the problem. It may be helpful to have the teacher call the parent if the problem happens again in order to discuss possible solutions. Parent and teachers can together look at alternative short-term solutions. After very young children may not understand what is expected of them in specific situations and may need added explanation and encouragement to meet a teacher's expectations. Children are more likely to be concerned about improving their behavior if they believe their parents care about how they behave. When parents and teachers meet to plan the necessary actions to solve the problem, the preschooler understands that he is expected to behave well and get motivated to solve the problem. When talking to teacher, some tips for parents to communicate with teachers. One is make an appointment to visit the school, go to school in time, talk to head of the institution, or we can say that the headmaster, talk with the other parents, find time to attend school function or attend the PTA. If we talk about the teacher-child relationship in preschools, teachers primarily goal is to establish a relationship with child in their care based open trust. If trust is to develop, children need sensitive and perceptive caregive, caregivers that understand children's needs and consistently offer tender, responsive care. teacher-child relationship in the classroom. In the classroom, the relationship between teacher and the child should be guide, teacher as a guide, and friendly behave should be treat to child. Now we will discuss about the qualities and characteristics of effective preschool teachers. Now we will discuss about the qualities and characteristics of an effective preschool teachers. Can you tell me what is the quality in a preschool teachers? What are the qualities in a preschool teachers?
Good communication.
Please speak loudly, please.
Good communication.
Good communication, very good. Any other?
He should have patience.
Should have the patience, very good. Any other?
Subject knowledge.
Please repeat the sentence.
Subject knowledge.
Very good. Subject knowledge. Any other?
Should have empathy.
Empathy towards
Children's emotions.
very good. Children's emotions. So, if you talk about qualities of the preschool teachers, we can divide it into 4 parts. One is qualities relating to professional requirements. Second is qualities relating to character and personality. Third is qualities relating to human relationships. Qualities relating to professional educational training. First, we will discuss about professional requirements. Love towards the profession. First, quality relating to professional requirement is love towards the profession. The teacher should feel the importance of his profession. After entering the profession, the teacher must show an exclusive attention to his job. Second is love for children. Third is respect individually of each child. Fourth is knowledge of child psychology and educational psychology. Next is mastery of the subject matter. Next is acquire various skills of teaching. So these are the qualities relating to the professional requirements. In a pre-school school education teachers. Next is qualities relating to the character and personality. The character and personality of the of the child cannot be developed if the teacher who is model to be followed lacks character and personality. Example is better than percept. An old saying is absolutely true is the teaching profession. A teacher teaches not only by what he says and does, but very largely by what he is. Therefore, teachers must acquire a moral alertness, love, and humility. He should always be frank, sincere, and honest. He also shows patience, emotional stability, and possesses good memory, good voice, and humor. Preschool teacher must bear in mind that as their students are small kids, they may not listen to what the teacher says, but will be very keen in what the teacher is doing. So, the good aspect of the teacher's personality must reflect in the acts of preschool teachers. So, these are the qualities relating to character and personality of the teacher. Now, qualities relating to human relationship. First is cooperative attitude. The success of an institution depends upon the cooperation among all those involved in the teaching learning process. A teacher must cooperate with his colleagues, head of the institution, parents. Democratic attitude. A teacher cannot be an autocrat, an autocrat in education. There is no scope for autocrat. A teacher who is to show the way of democracy. His role is of a friend, philosopher, and guide, and not of a policeman. Preschool teachers should not try to impose discipline, but inspire students for adjusting with their environment. Next is religious tolerance. The minds of the young should not be poisoned through narrow-mindedness. Self-analysis. Self-analysis on the part of the teacher is very essential to find out his own shortcomings so that steps can be taken to rectify it. So these are the qualities relating to human relationship. Next, qualities relating to professional educational training. As we know that different nations, or we can say that the countries follow different criteria regarding qualification of preschool teachers. The National Commission on School Teachers pointed out some criteria while selecting a teacher for admission to a training course. The teacher should possess good physics, linguistic ability and communication skill, a fair degree of general mental ability, general awareness of the world, a positive outlook on life, the capacity for good human relations. The selection of trainees should be made through a combination of objective tests, rating skills, group discussion, and personal interviews. Now, the code of ethics for teachers. The code of ethics for the teachers may be include the teacher should stick on a responsible pattern of conduct, and the second is the teacher shall not use professional relationship with students for private advantage. The teacher should seek to make professional growth continuous through study and research. Teachers shall establish and maintain cordial relationship with parents and the community. Teachers should act with impartiality, truthfulness, and honesty. Now, we will discuss preschool teacher qualification in India. As we all know, the qualification of preschool teachers in India, that is the DLED, Diploma in Elementary Education, and the required qualification of the preschool teachers for appointment, therefore various, and they are required for possess any of the qualification mentioned as graduate or higher secondary with nursery training certificate, diploma in education, PG diploma in early childhood care and education, degree in early childhood care and education. These are the main qualification in India for preschool teachers, and also the postgraduate diploma in pre-primary education. The National Council for Teacher Education, NCTE, has recognized diploma in early childhood care education of 2 years duration as a teacher education program, and the eligibility qualification for admission to the program in DLED is senior secondary pass with minimum 50% marks. Now, we will discuss about preschool teachers' requirements. Preschool teachers play an important role in shaping and developing children's interest in reading and writing, developing social interactions, teaching alphabet, and number recognition, and, and introducing learning concepts. The education and learning experiences that children develop during their early years will develop and shape their educational and professional futures. In some countries, the preschool teachers' educational requirements range from general psychology to introductory techniques for teaching mathematics, science, and literature. With job experience and some diploma or bachelor degree in early childhood education, the preschool teachers may become supervisors or directors at preschool, Montessori school, and other preschool, or we can say that kindergarten schools. Now we will discuss about the expectations of preschool education. Preschool education is a preparatory program for the primary school education, and at the end of preschool education, children are expected to understand what is right and what is wrong, be willing to share and take turn with others, be able to relate to others, be curious and hence explore the environment, be able to listen and speak well, be satisfied with themselves, develop physical coordination and healthy habits. So, these are the requirements of preschool teachers. Now we will discuss about competencies of preschool teachers. Competencies are the requirements of competency-based teaching education, or we can say that competency-based teacher education, which includes knowledge, skill, and values. The trainees teacher must demonstrate for successful competition of the teacher education program. Some characteristics of a competency are one or more skills which would influence the attainment of the competency. A competency has its linkage with all the three domains like knowledge, skill, and attitude. Competencies are observable and demonstrable, and they are also measurable. Teacher competencies is to look at teaching essentially as something that is obtained in the classroom, that is classroom interaction involving the teacher, the student, and the different context or opportunities that are set up the facilitating learning. How to identify the competencies? The teacher has a role to play as a friend, a philosopher, and a guide, and to secure the cooperation of society, co-workers, officials, and so on. The competencies are classified as classroom competencies, administration and management competencies, social competencies, content and curriculum competencies, motivational value-based competencies. If we talk about classroom competencies, deal with classroom situation and are mainly devoted to the actual interaction in the class with students. Further, the management of the class requires skillful handling of the situation in imparting the desired qualities and abilities to the students. Therefore, a classroom is a miniature society. The teacher must develop the required talent in the children so that they will discharge their duties as members of the future society. As an able administrator, the teacher must possess a variety of competencies enabling him to perform the role of leader who is dedicated to tasks assigned to him. The administrative capacities will enable the teacher to run the school on smooth lines, securing 100% cooperation both from co-workers and members of the society. If we talk about public related competencies, public related competencies play a vital role in maintaining a cordial and conducive environment and to secure the maximum cooperation and assistance. To secure 100% enrollment and retention, the curriculum must have direct bearing on the life and livelihood of society from where the student come. The content provides only the base and the teacher must have a mastery or the content for developing the required competencies aimed at. The preschool teachers must improve the performance of the students not only by teaching but through play activities also. The teacher should inculcate a sense of belonging and being wanted in the minds of children, and this would help them to be cheerful. On the whole, a teacher should be competent to take care of all areas of preschoolers' development. Now, I think the short break of 5 minutes. Okay, we will continue after 5 minutes short break. Hello. May I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, evaluating preschool teachers' performance. As we discussed, teacher competency, we have already discussed, refer to knowledge, skill, or professional value which a teacher may be said to possess. As far as a preschool teacher is concerned, competency means what a teacher knows about student, their nature, and what he does for the improvement of the capacities of the child. Teacher performance refers to what the teacher does on the job rather than to what he can do. It is therefore specific to the job situation. Performance can be evaluated on the basis of the teacher's involvement in the classroom activities of the student and the result achieved. And the teacher effectiveness refers to the effect that the teacher's performance has on children. This can be measured in terms of changes in the behavior of students, and teacher can be evaluated by the different questionnaire prepared by the different educationists and the scholars, and by observing the students. Teacher can be evaluated by the students and colleagues and the head of the institutions. Now we will discuss about the program for preschool teachers. Now we will discuss in-service program for preschool teachers. As we know, the aims and objectives of preschool education to provide incentives to the teachers, to help teachers to know their problems and to solve them by pooling their resources. If you talk about the objectives of the preschool education, we have already studied physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social development of the child. And if you talk about the objectives of in-service education, that is to provide incentives to the teachers to function more efficiently, to help teachers to employ more effective methods of teaching, to help teachers to get acquainted with modern techniques in education, to upgrade the teachers' knowledge and understanding of the content, to increase the level of motivation of teachers to develop self-confidence, to promote the spirit of inquiry and help them to be committed and reflective teachers. Various modes of in-service education may be organized. like refresher course, summer courses, orientation programs, correspondence courses, workshop, seminars, symposia, conference. These all are related to various modes of in-service education. Face-to-face model. The face-to-face model offers campus-based in-service training using direct face-to-face training approach. The merit of this approach is that there is a direct and sustained interaction between the participant and the resource person. Media-based education model. If we talk about this model, like audio conferencing and teleconferencing are the some example of media-based education model. In this, the electronic media play the key role and the print material a supportive role. The advantages of this model is that the training objectives can be achieved quickly within a short period. Various agencies which provide in-service training, both government as well as non-government. Some of the institutions providing in-service education in states like SCRT, the State Council of Educational Research and Training, SIE, State Institute of Education, SISE, State Institute of Science Education, State Institute of English, Extension Service Departments of universities, District Institute of Education and Training, that is DIET, organizations like NCERT, National Council for Educational Research and Training, UGC, University Grant Commission, and University Department of Education, RIE, Regional Institutes of Education, professional organization of teachers and non-governmental organization, that is NGOs, also conduct various types of in-service program for the effective teaching and effective techniques and the teaching methods to make the teaching effective. Some suggestions for improving in-service education. There are various in-service programs to improve the quality of teachers. However, the programs of in-service education for preschool teachers the following are the main problems related with in-service education of the teachers. Some problems are lack of incentives, lack of motivation, lack of interest, inappropriate method and techniques, inappropriate curriculum and course material, inadequate facilities, non-availability of qualified resource person, lack of follow-up programs. In India, Few preschool teachers have availed the facility of continuing education. Let's hope we will be able to increase teacher competence towards maximum professional growth of the teachers by attending the seminars, conferences, and some professional development training. If we talk about teachers' self-improvement, the common element in all, there are many procedures to collect some data relating related to some self-improvement of the teacher. Micro-teaching and competency-based teacher education program. The common element in all these three procedures are statement of the competency or skill terms of the teacher's behavior, some explicit procedure of recording and coding that behavior objectively. Usually the procedure involves observing the teacher in actual teaching situation by observation and by video cameras and an audio tape recording and observation by colleagues and observed by the students. So these are the techniques, or we can say that the method how to teacher self improvement in it. Now we will discuss about the ideal environment of a preschool. Ideal preschools, if we adopt some modern teaching methods, like, or we can say that some approaches like problem solving approach. As we know that all children are different, in nature, the teacher should plan for providing guidance in relation to personal and social needs of each individual. Individual differences in preschool teachers can also be considered. Special talents and abilities of teachers can be used to the fullest to enrich the child's preschool experiences. Motivation. If a child may engage in finger painting because he feels a relief from tension after working in large circular motions with his hands and arms. Construction of playhouse is pursued because a few children feel the need of house in which to play. Maria Montessori House of Children focuses on motivation from within of an individual. Learning through experiences. Learning by doing has long been practiced in the preschool. It has been noted earlier that children of preschool age cannot learn effectively by lecture method. They can learn through the different activities like field trips, dramatizations, watching a nearby bird's nest, and singing well loved song all contribute to learning. Next is parents and teachers work together. Recognition of the interdependence of parent and teacher in working together for the welfare of the child is one of the most important advances in today's preschool program. And second one is PTM, as we have already discussed. Next is flexibility is the keynote, as principles and practice are in no way static. Flexibility is present even in preschool philosophy, as research reveals new facts about development needs and effective learning of the young one, or we can say the young children. Certain areas of thoughts and training may be discarded or modified to suit the learner and his learning environment. It is important to determine the relationship and place of preschool with the rest of the school. The preschool teachers should work continuously with the total school staff to assure that the preschool curriculum is integrated with the whole educational program of the community. The preschool teachers is not expected to teach the children but learns with them to ensure an ideal environment for the preschoolers. A good preschool seeks to meet the needs of the age group enrolled. In planning a curriculum for the preschool, attention, the emphasis is given to promotion of physical, intellectual, social, and emotional growth. Meeting health need. Teacher, parents, and can coordinate closely in watching the health and development of the child and keeping data on gains, the height, weight, coordination, keeping health record card up to date, meeting intellectual needs. Problem solving techniques can be introduced at the preschool level. Children problems may seem minor to an adult, but they are of major concern to the child. The teacher can help them solve their own problem through the use of thought provoking questions. The teacher can give opportunity for creative expression. An important requisite for creative expression is the need to have ideas to express. Meeting social emotional needs. In a good preschool atmosphere, children learn to work within and as a group. Plan can be made for cooperative work and activities to present an ideal environment at the preschool. Professionally trained teachers are required. The nature and function of the particular school determine the required professional staff. The number of teachers needed to staff a nursery school adequately depends on the size and arrangement of the buildings and grounds, on the equipments in the school, on the number and ages of children in the group, on the type of program, and on the training and experience of the teacher themselves. Regarding the personal qualification of a nursery teacher, it is desirable that the teacher has good health. As we have discussed already, a pleasing speaking voice with no marked accent, a very patient character, and attractive appearance with a good sense of humor, and have the knowledge of child psychology, and have the knowledge of the emotions. Such knowledge is useful not only in determining the chief readiness for entrance but also in adapting the experiences that the school offers to his particular needs. As we will discuss about the physical environment of preschool education, or we can say that the preschool institutions. Some general requirements for the preschool institutions, that is adequate outdoor space, some provisions for water play area which provides both semi and complete shelter, adequate storage space for children's use which is both functional and decorative, aesthetic appeal, indoor equipment. Next is storage space for supplies. Next is bathroom with adequate toilet facilities, adequate facilities for children's resting, adequate facilities for children's games, and isolation space. So these are the general physical requirements for preschool institutions. As we have already discussed, the preschool education is the preparation for the primary education. We can say that learning to read words, sentences, learning to write, learning to listen, learning to speak, and another aspect of oral expression is the ability to speak easily in the presence of a children's group. Fear and shyness are overcome through engaging in such speaking activities. Social studies All preschool experiences contribute to social studies through dramatization, home experiences, exhibits, stories, pictures, picture sharing experiences, and visitors from the community. The child's interest in home, school, and community are sharpened. He starts by observation and understanding of life in his immediate surroundings. Celebration of national and state festivals inculcate social values in children. Number concepts. Many arithmetical concepts may be informally introduced. Some of the number experiences included are counting, comprising of large and small, distinguishing such shapes as circles, triangles, rectangles, cubes, squares. Natural science. A young child is always young scientist. It is noted that young children of the age of 4 and 5 years are always curious to know of many aspects. They frequently ask the questions how and why. The preschool situation should offer excellent opportunity to capitalize on this curiosity and interest. If we talk about health care and safety, the health and safety of young children is obviously the first consideration of the teacher. The school should ensure that basic health needs which the home is unable to provide would be met through school and community services. Certain aspect of physical care as periodic appraisals of physical status are valuable not for the needs they reveal for medical care but for the teachers better understanding of individual children. In addition to this, children can be protected from the infection mainly through three possible ways, that is immunization and safeguarding the child from exposure to infection, and by keeping the general resistance high. A parents meeting at which a nutritionist discussed the diet of the children as revealed by their records. This gives the parents an opportunity to obtain information they may need in regard to feeding their children, ensuring child safety. In the preschool, children are protected from the danger of fire, force, and gravity by removing all hazards from their environment. Specific provisions for safety include various first aid measures are ensured in the institution. Now, creating facilities for the ideal system operations. In order to incorporate the essentials of a good preschool programs into plans, it is necessary to start with some kind of framework and skeleton upon which the written plans may be built. The preschool generally includes the following broad areas within which preschool activities will be expanded. If we talk about the work period, it is here that the child can be offered the greatest opportunity to think, plan, execute, evaluate, and share. Major portion of the time should be allotted for this period. The work period or work play may be considered in four parts, namely planning, working, cleanup, evaluation, and sharing. If we talk about planning, usually a preschool child may not have attained the maturity at the beginning. As the child matures, develops socially, and becomes oriented to school and its activities, this ability to plan as individual as well as a group. For example, during informal play, a child may announce, I will be the mother, you will be the father, and you will be the little boy. Thus, each child may be exposed to short planning sessions while at work or play. Second is working. During work time, lengthening of interest span in one of the major aim. The work period may be held indoors, outdoors. The children may be encouraged to finish what they start before they move on to another activity. Next is cleaning up, planning for putting away materials, require a place for everything the children experiences. Next is evaluating and sharing of work. Group sharing may be Group sharing may take place at the end of the work period or at the end of the day. Evaluation of individual work can take place during the work period itself. Next is toileting. It is desirable that preschool should have their own toilets. Which can be reached directly from the playroom. Set routines like flushing the toilets, flushing the toilets whenever used, and washing hands can be developed in children. Next is now next is outdoor play period. Facilities determine the nature of this period in order to see that no child is idle. The teacher can carefully plan the activities for outdoor period. Activities like race, games involving fundamental skills have their place in their outdoor period. So, this is all for development of the child and how to develop the all round development of the child. So this is enough. You may leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.